Good morning, everybody. It is, what is it, Wednesday, 15th of February, and on the screen right now, let's actually get some calculations running. On the screen right now, hiding behind this calculation window, but on the screen right now is where Richard is this morning. He is about 400 kilometers out from Salvador, and up until now, we have been trade wind sailing, trade wind paddling. What does that mean? It means Richard's weather has been between 10 and 15 knots of easterly winds for what seems like weeks now. My job's been pretty darn simple because the weather forecast just has not changed. But we have been kind of looking at our crystal ball and now starting to look at the approaches into Salvador. And for weeks now, the wind in Salvador has been a steady onshore easterlies. Super easy, Rich will sail straight in. But as it goes, things are never easy, so we suddenly have a northeasterly flow. So if we look at the map right now, this is Richard's position about an hour ago, and that's the wind he's in right now, and we're actually at a critical phase. You can see we are actually further north in Salvador. We've pushed him further north in Salvador in anticipation of these northeasterly winds that are coming. So let's scroll forward a little bit and just pay attention to the wind, this animation of the wind. And you can see we turn Richard pretty much easterly during the wee hours of tonight, Wednesday night, early hours of Thursday morning. And you can see this wind is kind of turning more easterly. And as we scroll forward, the wind actually goes northeast, which is a little bit not super unusual, but doesn't happen that often in Salvador. So we've been setting Richard up well north of Salvador so that he doesn't get pushed by this wind south of Salvador. Instead, he's north of Salvador, and he can ride this prevailing wind straight in towards Salvador. There it gets not strong. That's about 15 knots of wind. That's about 25 k's an hour of northeasterly. It's going to move along quite nicely. And as he's coming into Salvador, here we go. So now we're looking at Friday. By the way, are we expecting Richard to land Sunday lunchtime local time? So for our time, South Africa time, it'll be Sunday evening, early hours of Sunday evening, maybe just after dark, but around about lunchtime in Salvador. And as he comes in here, we can see we're riding this all northeasterly. We go into a bit of a light patch here, but just for a short while, the wind comes back. And as it comes back, we're able to turn with that wind and glide straight into Salvador. We've got to watch this little northeasterly that puffs up at the last moment because he's got to get around this corner here. And that northeasterly is going to try and blow him to the west side of the bay. But he's going to have a fantastic team waiting for him there and just to be able to take care of him and get him into the local yacht club there, where we've managed to organize him a berth thanks to Bruno, who is our contact on the other side. While I'm giving thanks, I want to give a shout out to Predict Wind. What you're seeing right now is at the professional level of Predict Wind, an incredible tool, incredibly accurate, especially if you're in Cape Town and you're looking for kind of extreme resolution and seeing local effects of what the wind shadow is behind mountains, etc. Predict Wind does a really good job. It's well worth the money, and they've sponsored Richard and given us access to the pro level of their tool. I definitely recommend getting it if you're looking to have super accurate forecasts on the weather around the coastal areas in Cape Town in particular. That's why I use it. It's really, really useful. Let's have a quick look at this is his routing. As you can see here, all the weather models kind of agree. Each color represents a different weather model. They're saying the same thing. The other factor we've got to look at here is his AIS data. So let's jump into that. AIS basically tells us what is the shipping traffic that's going on around Richard. And as we get closer to a port, it's going to get a little trickier. So we're just going to zoom out here and we'll let this fill in a little bit. So here's Richard, obviously. And as we get to Salvador, you can see we have this river of shipping traffic. There's Rio down here, and that's why it's really busy. They're Brazil's main port. And we get with the shipping traffic going up into the Americas and across up to Europe. And Richard is now going to have to cross that. Up to now, we've had quite a lot of traffic. Most of it's been shipping and long line boats. But now we're going to be crossing this shipping lane and getting busier. So we're going to have to keep our eyes out. I set myself a 5-minute time limit for these videos. You can probably see it counting down on the screen there. So we've got 30 seconds to go. So I'm going to wrap that up. Exciting times ahead. Richard's almost done. It's going to be landing on Sunday lunchtime. Thanks for supporting. And if you're able to donate to Operation Smile, make a difference. And we'll be staying in touch with Richard when he's in Salvador as well. So stay tuned after he lands. Lots of exciting things to come.